Dark interiors have taken the design world by storm lately, but I think a lot of us are a little hesitant to bring dark into our own spaces. We're often told that bright rooms are ideal and dark rooms are oppressive and they make your room look small and they make you sad. But that's not at all true, and I want to teach you how you can bring dark into your space. Specifically, today I'm going to talk about dark academia. And even if you have no idea what dark academia is, like for example my husband who calls it dark macadamia, you can still watch this video because I'll be giving some general tips as well about how to decorate with dark. If you're new here, my goal is always to break down design styles in a way that makes them feel doable and approachable and easy to understand. Design doesn't have to be mysterious, it doesn't have to be expensive, so let's dive right into dark academia. Dark academia is a decorating style that draws inspiration from academic settings, a sense of intellectualism, and classic literature. It's characterized by its cozy and moody atmosphere and its dark color palette. Dark academia aims to create rooms that emphasize a love of learning and knowledge while simultaneously channeling a moody, nostalgic, gothic aesthetic with definite Hogwarts undertones.
You're a wizard, Harry.
This includes features like old libraries, candlelit study rooms, or more generally, think walking through Edinburgh or Oxford on a rainy winter day. The first element that is important to nail when creating a dark academia style room is, of course, a dark color palette. It isn't called bright academia after all. Although there is a lesser known style called light academia, which is basically the same thing as dark academia, but it uses light walls instead of dark walls, and it uses a lot of creams and beiges, but that's a topic for another video. Some of the paint colors you can look at bringing into a dark academia space are deep plums and burgundies, dark greens, dark blues, dark grays and charcoals, black of course, and rich browns. These colors set the foundation for the moody, atmospheric vibe that defines dark academia. As a general tip, if you're going dark, I strongly suggest carrying your dark paint onto the ceiling. For example, we just painted our bedroom a very dark color, and our bedroom isn't in dark academia style, but we still use the same paint color on the walls, ceiling, and trim, and we just varied the paint sheets. If you've already painted and you're looking around and your room is still feeling like it's lacking something or it's a little boring, consider adding molding and trim work. Crown molding, picture rails, and decorative panels are all a huge part of dark academia, and everything just tends to fall a little flat if you skip these details. Of course, besides paint, there's always wallpaper, which can be an excellent alternative. It's a great way to bring in interest and pattern into your space. You could choose a dark floral or a damask or some kind of dark botanical motif. We'll talk more about specific patterns that work well in dark academia rooms in a bit. And if you can't change your walls, there are other ways that you can bring dark into your room. For example, your curtains, individual furniture pieces, cushions, and bedding. Those are all great options for adding dark tones to your room. Another important aspect of getting that dark academia vibe is to use textures and materials that feel incredibly rich and luxurious. This adds depth and really tactile interest to the space. Consider incorporating materials like velvet, which works great on sofas, chairs, or cushions. It really adds a luxurious and inviting feel. I love velvet. I will always try to have at least one velvet element in my space. Leather furniture, especially vintage pieces, can add an old world charm to the space. Antique wooden furniture with intricate carvings or details fit really well with the traditional and intellectual vibe. By combining these different textures and materials, you can start to kind of create this multi-layered tapestry, which is not only visually interesting, but also really interesting for your senses as well. So we just touched on patterns a moment ago, but I wanted to go a little bit more in depth for you here. Some patterns that align with the dark academia aesthetic include damask, which works really well on wallpaper or even throw pillows. Houndstooth, we all know this pattern, right? Plaid is another dark academia pattern, although as a Canadian, when you say plaid, all I think of is this. But don't worry, there are hundreds of variations of plaid which don't look like a lumberjack's outfit that work really well with this decorating style. Paisley is another excellent choice. It's got a nice floral organic feel to it. For example, a dark on dark paisley would be great for a dark academia room. And of course, you can always bring in a beautiful, intricate Persian rug to add some interest to your room. If you can pull a color from your rug and use that on the wall, it will really help to tie things together nicely. And that's a tip that works well when you're decorating with any style, not just dark academia. If you're wondering what kind of furniture to bring into your DA space, think about bringing in something that's vintage or antique to bring character and charm into your room. Dark academia is definitely a kind of dark on dark look, so bring in darker wood pieces as opposed to lighter wood so that they don't contrast too much with the dark wall color. A statement piece of furniture can really anchor the dark academia look in your space. Remember that while antique and vintage pieces are key, if you don't want to go the whole 9 yards, you can always mix in a few more like modern pieces to kind of balance out the look a little bit. And of course, if you have existing furniture that you really like but doesn't really maybe match the color scheme, you can paint it darker and that will save you a lot of money too. Dark academia is all about creating a cozy atmosphere. I think that's part of the reason why it's so popular right now. As a decorating style, everyone is all about the cozy, and lighting plays a crucial role in achieving that warm and inviting ambiance. So first of all, you'll want to focus solely on warm lighting options. So opt for warm toned light bulbs rather than cool ones. Warm light creates a cozy and intimate feel which aligns well with the aesthetic. Candles are a hallmark of the dark academia look. Use real candles in candle holders, or for safety, opt for the fake kind that flickers, like these ones. Place candles on tables, mantles, windowsills, or in wall sconces for a flickering and really cozy effect. If you don't have a fire extinguisher and you are using candles regularly in your home, please stop the video right now and go and buy one, and hopefully you will never need to use it. We recently bought these ones on Amazon. They're pretty cheap. Okay, I'm done being a mom now. Let's move on. You'll want to use lamps with shades, as the shades diffuse the light really nicely. Wall sconces can also be a great addition. When it comes to wall decor, choose timeless artwork like classical oil portraits, landscapes, and still life paintings to add depth and character to your walls. And chunky, ornate gold frames are always a great touch in a dark academia themed room. Look for those at thrift stores rather than buying them new. Of course, you don't have to have original paintings, you can use prints as well. If you want to emphasize the intellectual side of the DA style, you could consider hanging blueprints of old buildings, vintage maps, and technical illustrations. Basically pictures that make you look smart. And of course, mirrors are never a bad idea. Again, make sure they're in nice, big, ornate, chunky gold frames. If your walls are still feeling a little bit naked, you could dress them up in a vintage style tapestry. Not only will it add a touch of history and culture to your space, but it'll bring in some additional warmth and texture. Bookshelves represent the whole academia part of the dark academia style. They serve not only as storage for your cherished literary treasures, but in general, bookcases are a powerful design element that can really help to round out a space when it feels like it's missing something. Bookcases also really help to add to that layered, maximalist feel of dark academia decor. Finally, accessories are what are really going to get you across the finish line. Fortunately, there is a huge variety of accessories that you can use to get the look. Greek busts, globes, old photographs, handwritten letters, vintage clocks, inkwells, and typewriters are among just a few. Sprinkle these accessories across your space to get that perfect dark academia vibe. If you want to look at all my favorite dark academia decor items, then be sure to check out my Amazon store, which is linked in the description, or just go to my website to the article that I wrote about this style, and everything will be there for you as well. I really hope you enjoyed this video and that you came away with a few tips that you can put to use. If you did enjoy this video, I would really appreciate it if you could do all the things, like, share, subscribe, comment, all that, because it really helps me out. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next one.